Kevin.
Wow. What?
You get this only nowhere else but you. Kevin is after that. Kevin, I'm not gonna lie.
Now we're not look at this. A carved penguin. There it is.
Oh no. Are the O's fine? Are the Orioles fine, Kevin?
Okay.
The Orioles stole it. That game was stolen. It was stolen from them, then they stole it right back.
What?
Oh my God.
Wait, what's going on?
What is
happening?
What is going? Was it a diving play? He bobbled the ball.
What is happening? Are they challenging it? No. Other wall. No.
Kevin, I don't know what you saw, how much you saw. I've been chugging champagne. Sure, I spilled a lot, but what a game, man.
He will be the legendary
First fish.
How about that?
First fish fans, stand up. We did it.
What can I say? What can I say?
That was a disgusting loss. That was just horrible. I would like to apologize to everyone who stayed up on the East Coast to watch that team just shit down their leg every opportunity they got. I mean, just what was it? End up being 1 for 9 runners in scoring position. Dean Kramer, blow up inning, still had opportunities. I mean, it was just missed opportunity, bad base running. You gave the Athletics a million extra chances. They took advantage of them. Every time the Athletics gave the Orioles an extra chance or something happened, Orioles couldn't do anything. I mean, just 1 for 9 with runners in scoring position. Team just bad. That was a bad. The Athletics tried to hand the Orioles that ball game, and the Orioles refused to take it. The Orioles were like, no, not at. Please do not give us this win. I would hate to take this win. Please do not make me take this win. And it's just brutal. I mean, opportunity after opportunity. Heston Kjerstad with the least competitive at bat I've ever seen. I mean, like, you might as well have just told him to not swing up there. That was atrocious. That was horrific. I mean, why did you even send that poor kid up there against Mason Miller? I mean, just 3 curveballs, not even close. Heston decided he was swinging 3 times before the at-bat even started. It was disgusting. Like, that was horrible. But hit that like and subscribe button. If you're up, hit that like and subscribe button. And Kevin and Zach react. And joining me as my co-host, Kevin Ostreicher. Kevin, they're 0-1 after DFAing Jordan Adams.
That you took the words right out of my mouth. This is what happens. You had it right in front of you. You had your prince that was promised. You treat him poorly, and the baseball gods come back and they bite you. This is I am outraged. I am outraged that the Orioles did this to Jordan Adams. He was the best player this team has ever seen. They were undefeated in the Jordan Adams era. And guess what? They still are, because he's not on the team anymore. Yeah. Same old Orioles without Jordan Adams. It just is what it is. It just is what it is. But yeah, Heston at bat was horrible. Like,
I literally
I've gotten on like Maverick for a couple of bad at bats. Like, Adley's obviously had uncompetitive swings this year, but that was probably the worst at bat I've seen this season, maybe in the last couple of years. And like, I wish I was exaggerating, but I'm not.
It was just like,
it was really bad.
It was just like,
and you could tell after the first pitch, the second pitch, I just said, just walk the dugout, man. like it's
like,
over.
I would have just not swung after that. Like,
well, he knew he had him. Like, he knew he had him. He goes down and in on that
You know,
pitch.
I would look exactly like Eston Kerstead did.
Yeah.
I would look exactly. Me and Eston Kerstead would both swing and miss at the first 3 pitches. I mean, man, Mason Miller, damn good player, one of the best closers in the league. That was just uncompetitive. Like, you just can't swing at 3 balls in the dirt like that.
No, look, Heston's not the only player to have a bad at bat, but
no, I mean, this team had opportunity after opportunity.
Yeah,
I mean, this entire team. It's unfortunate that Heston got with the but in that it's more disgusting because you had to, you just had to put the ball in the air. Yeah. Like, you didn't even have to get a hit. It's not like it was bases loaded, 2 outs. You put a weak fly ball middle. I mean, Cows are scoring on anything. You know, a mid fly ball. That's just what's more disappointing. But like you said, Heston's not the only one out of, a bad at bat. It was across the board with runners in scoring position. I mean, missed opportunity after missed opportunity.
Yeah, look, and it's unfortunate because, like, you get the bases loaded in the 8th. It just seems like we're back to, where they were. And look, I'll keep the same energy I had with the White Sox series, right? Anything less than the sweep is a disappointment. The series is already a disappointment to me.
You have to take 2.
Their first win in a month. Or no, was it their second win of the month?
This is they
were 1 in 21 in their last 22 before this, weren't they?
But they won their last game, so they've won 2 straight.
Okay, so it was two out of. Okay, got it.
And then
Mason made Arias look horrible. Like, it just
Mason Miller makes people look horrible. There's a reason he's one of the best.
I mean, he's Miller standards. He hasn't been like that Mason Miller this year.
Yeah.
Like, it's not been that, but when you can just pump 102, 103, 101 consistently like that, man. Like, I think that sequence, that 5-out save for Mason Miller, man, bring that guy to the Orioles, dude. Now, the bullpen for the Orioles was awesome tonight, but like, bring that man, get that man an orange and black.
Like, it was one of those things, Kevin, where the Orioles, every inning, they had opportunities. They had guys get on base. They had guys in scoring position, and they just couldn't do it. I mean, it was the Dylan Carlson. That's why I'm even more frustrated about Dylan Carlson and Gunnar Henderson. Now, not against Mason Miller, obviously, but had 2 unbelievable at-bats to lead to the bases loaded. Like, that Dylan Carlson at-bat had me standing up.
He was fouling off pitches, waiting for... He
fought for everything.
Yeah.
Fought for every single pitch.
Against Gunnar, you can't make a mistake pitch, so,
the
pitcher's going out there sweating, and like, they got themselves in such a good spot, and like, that's what we've been looking for, and they couldn't do it. So they blew an awesome bullpen game. The bullpen was great. They were great, and it just feels like, again, those sliders turn on and off. Like, boom, bullpen on. Dino didn't have his best game today, and the offense found some spots, but Jackson was awesome, and Carlson obviously. But, you have your 2, 3, 4. What was it? 0 for 12? Over 13? No.
For what?
The Adley O'Hearn and
yes, that would be
Laureano, because Laureano drew the walk, so they didn't have they were 0 for.
They were 0 for 12.
Yeah, that's what I thought. 0 for 12
with 1 RBI though, because Laureano with the sac fly and the walk. So Laureano did his. He did okay.
Yeah, Adley got on base. It's tough to see O'Hearn go 0 for 5, but that man has done everything for this team this year. So he still the best hitter on the planet, but yeah. It's
just it's frustrating because listen, you can say, oh, the Orioles have won 6 straight. You're bound to lose a game. Yeah.
Well, it doesn't make this any less disappointing.
But here's the thing: like, under normal circumstances, yes, the Orioles don't get normal circumstances anymore. You've dug yourself the hole. If there's a game that you are in against a team who has won 3 of the last 23, or 2 of the last 23 coming into this. I mean, you gotta like that's the game. Like these aren't like you at minimum have to take 2 of 3. So like
Yeah, you at minimum had to sweep. Like you had to sweep.
no, I'm saying like that is the minute. Like the sweep was the hey, if you want to keep this thing going, you got to sweep. At the we can't embarrass ourselves. Like you got to if you want any sort of thing. Like the minimum is take 2 of 3. So it's like you can't lose game 1, especially like that, because now you have to play perfect just to walk out of a series disappointed that you didn't sweep.
Yeah. Again, and it's the opposite of what you said, or what your message has been. Like they're beating teams they're supposed to beat. Like, good. That's what you need to do if you want to dig out of the hole. You lose the team you're supposed to beat, and you're putting yourself even further behind the 8 ball. If this had happened against Detroit, if this had happened against the Rays or the Yankees or one of those teams, you're like, yeah, okay. Good teams. You're bound to lose probably a couple of those games. These are the Sacktown A's you're talking about right now. And it's unfathomable how, they can go and sweep Seattle, who, their offense is a whole different story. But you go and sweep Seattle and then you can't, in clutch time, it's the A's, man. They're not even playing in their state. They don't even have a stadium. It's embarrassing, but there have been plenty of embarrassing moments this season for this team. So, and again, I don't want to live.
I was gonna say when they dropped that ball, that there were listen. This was
don't even get me. Yeah, don't even. Oh my!
There were this very much felt like an Orioles game from earlier this season. This very much felt like the errors, the missed opportunities.
Jordan Adams could have done that and more. Put Jordan Adams in the infield. Put Jordan Adams in the infield.
It's like Ramon Arias.
You might as well put Jordan Adams in the infield.
Which, speaking of, first off, we're talking about Mateo. Listen, Mateo didn't have the greatest at bats. Mateo was robbed by one of the greatest catches you're gonna see. That was that first one, that gapper, the center. I'm blanking on his name right now, but what a freaking catch! That was absolutely unreal. Who was it? Denzel Clark. Denzel Clark with just I thought there was no chance. I was like, oh my God, Jorge, there we go. How the hell he got that? You just have to tip your cap at that point. I know people are upset that on Kobe's double, Cowser didn't score, saying, he's got to score on that. He's got to get a better read. After the catch that was just made in center field, I know it's a different center fielder, but I don't think that, honestly, Colton and them saw that Seth Brown didn't get a good read on that ball. That looked like a ball that was getting caught, so I'm not upset with you would think, hey, we're down, 1? We now have second and third, 1 out. We're going to get the run in. No.
Yeah, it's just not fun. And I really thought that, with the vibes that they had, they were like, okay, you got the bases loaded with 1 out. Now this is your last chance. And they can't do it. So, I mean, look, shout out to the bullpen though. Dean gives up the 5, but then you get clean innings from Cano and Aiken to get out of it. And then Dominguez and Soto give you the 2. I mean, that the bullpen is starting to find their stride, which I'm really excited about for the most part. So,
yeah, I mean, that's what's kind of been, Kevin, you talked about earlier with the sliders. It's like, okay, starting pitching has been lights out, absolutely lights out. Okay, bullpen's starting to turn on. They're lights out. The one game the starting pitching gives, doesn't do well, and then the bats don't produce with runners in scoring position for really the first time in about a week and a half, 2 weeks. So it really just feels like sometimes this season, it's been the perfect storm of oh shit. Oh, here we go. The Orioles just find a way. That's why, tonight, it just felt like Ramon Arias missing balls at third. That Kobe Mayo, like I know the next, then Rooker got a RBI single or double the next pitch. But that one pop up that like went into the stands and like came back with the win, like that's 9 out of 10 players don't catch that. So, but those are the tiny incidents that it kind of felt like you were just giving them opportunity after opportunity. And like when you give these bad teams chances, you got to tip your cap. The Athletics were given extra opportunities and they went with it. They actually took advantage, unlike the Orioles tonight, who when they were given second and third, 1 out, when they were given bases loaded, 1 out, they couldn't get guys in. Give it to him. Jacob Wilson for the Athletics, that 1, 2, 3 of Lawrence Butler, Jacob Wilson, and Brent Rooker, even Tyler Soderstrom, he's been having a great year, not a great night tonight. That 1 through 3 is a very, very good 1 through 3. I mean, that is as good, like, of a young core to build around as you can get, just off of all of the assets that they bring. But man, you can't lose that game. Like that's one of those games that you cannot lose.
Yeah, it's tough. I mean, this is a team that you absolutely should beat, and there's no doubt about that. Like, it's not making this loss any more disappointing. Honestly, the worst part is that they lost so much momentum. Like, you can finally feel them starting to get those vibes back and, finally start, actually finding something. And now it's just like, well, you don't feel as good about it because, you lose a game like this. This A's team has struggled all season. Well, recently, they surprisingly were actually better than a lot of people thought early. But at the end of the day, you had an opportunity to legitimately win 9 straight, to like sweep 3 series. Oh, goodbye, Zach. To like legitimately sweep 3 series. It sucks because there was so much to gain here, and one loss in the grand scheme of things might not be a lot, but when you dig yourself the hole that you did, welcome back, Zach.
Audio just completely.
It just it stings more, so you can't afford losses like that, right?
Mm-hmm. No,
you can't afford it, and you especially can't afford it when you dug yourself this hole, right? So it's tough. So
like you said, after you've won 9 of 11, you then win, including 6 straight. In most circumstances, losing 1 game is okay. Okay, you lost a game. Just get them, could start the new streak. That's fine. That's totally fine. What we've been trying to get across is the Orioles don't have normal circumstances right now. Like, they've dug this hole to where they don't get the benefit of the doubt. They don't get, oh, yeah, tough loss. You'll get them. Oh, okay. That was a bad one. That's tough, but you'll get out of here. Kevin, anything not a sweep is a disappointment. You now have to win 2 games just to leave Sacramento, probably drive up to Oakland to then fly out of there. You're leaving Sacramento even after 2. Like, it sucks because if they win the final 2 games of this, they're leaving this West Coast road trip 5-1. And if you told me that beforehand, I'd be like, beautiful. If you told me the loss was to the Athletics coming in that situation, in those circumstances, plus like the momentum they had going into that game, and it's the first game, like, listen, I don't like to be that guy, but like if you win the first 2 in Sacramento, you throw out kind of a punt lineup Sunday, weird shit happens at a day game after a night game on a getaway day, whatever. It felt like this was the game. God, you needed to win. You needed to win this one.
I mean, you needed to win all of them, right? You needed to win all of them. So I'm just going to keep hammering home the point that, like, every team loses baseball games, but the Orioles have done too much losing or so early in the season, which means, like, you need every single game to climb back. And look, we've talked about, like, division races before, and maybe that one game counts here or there, or, that one division win will get you a tiebreaker. We're talking about, like, fighting to get back to 500, fighting to get back in a wild card spot. And so, look, you can do that. This is a good point here where, it just feels like too often, like, they have wasted opportunities like this. And it's exactly right. Peyton says that, it's not realistic to expect them to sweep every series. It's just not. And sometimes a team that you're supposed to beat will beat you. That's just it's the nature of sports, not just baseball. It's the nature of sports. But the reason why it stings more here is that point that the Orioles need every win they can to get out of this hole. So, if they can't get the job done, like if they lose a series to Detroit or, again, like the Yankees, Tampa, those teams coming up on their schedule, you say, okay, fine, right? Or even if you win 2 or 3 of those games, like you get better. It's not that much better, but, you get a little better. You need to capitalize. And that's what I was so proud of them for doing these past 2 series of, like, this is what they were supposed to do. We had seen them lose to teams they were supposed to beat early on in the season. They didn't do that these past 6 games. But now you get to this one and, a team will drop a game. I get it. But that's why I think it stings a lot more than other people. Or than other games, not people.
It does, and because it's the opportunities. Like, Listen, Kevin, I'll say it. If JP Sears would have gone out there and thrown 6 one-run innings, they hand it off to the bullpen, and the bullpen shuts us down. They hand it to Mason Miller. He ends it. They lose 6-1. I'm like, damn, they got outplayed. All right, that sucks. You got to get them tomorrow. But it's the way – Kevin, it's not that they're losing. It's the way they're losing. It's that they were given the opportunities. It's that you didn't need hits to get runs in, and they couldn't do it.
Yeah.
And, it's the 0 for 12 from, the
2, 3, 4.
2, 3, 4. And the fact that, hell, the star of the game, probably Dylan Carlson. Give him his.
I thought outside of the Mason Miller at Bat Jackson, he was triple shy of the cycle. He was awesome too. But Carlson is that guy.
Oh, yeah. Well, I was just talking homecoming, like the big 2
okay,
run.
all right. Yeah. Sure.
Incredible at bat with, he comes up and he does the big, what was it, like 8-9 pitch at bat to, get the bases loaded. And you're like, okay, Dylan Carlson is doing, a bench player, a role player is doing the dirty work and having the gritty at bats, being this kind of reliable force. And then, Jackson, I mean, you can't blame anything, from Jackson today. He was incredible in every facet. Even you talk about he saved multiple runs or at least 1 run in the field as well. And Jackson is just blossoming into a star in front of our eyes. Disappointing game from Adley. We still need, we've talked about it. He's starting to get back. I still don't know if that righty swing is great. Versus lefties today, he struggled. So maybe they got to still work on that righty swing, but disappointing to see him after his recent 2 days kind of not build off that. But hey, everyone's favorite words. We got Charlie Morton on the bump tomorrow.
Great. Yeah. I'll sleep good tonight. No, knowing that.
Sleep tight, Kevin. You sleep tight knowing that we're tuck in tight.
Great. Lovely. Well, what do we want to do? You have anything else you want to get into some Callins?
Yeah, let's get into some Callins. I mean, it's 146. As much as I would love to have enthusiastic conversations.
Well, we're actually, and we're changing. So let's get into some new ground rules on Callins. Actually, let's get into some other ground rules first. We're not doing personal attacks on this show, right? We've never done personal attacks on this show. So look, you can be mad at any player you want to. You can be mad at this team and, go off into comments about players or teams. But, when it comes to personal attacks, that was a day 1 rule for us. So we just want to remind everybody, just we don't condone that, and we will take according action. If that does happen, it happens time and time again, and we just want to remind people when that does.
We all want to win.
If you're mad at a player or the team, go off. That's what we like. We like seeing the passion and the fire and the energy. But
tell me you're mad, people. If you are pissed off that the Orioles are 1 for 9 with runners in scoring position,
so
be pissed off about it. Talk about that, but
yeah, it's just if you, player criticism, team criticism, we're all for it. Right? We do that. Zach and I talk about
personal attacks, personnel attacks. You want to attack the personnel?
Yeah, if the personnel's not great on the team.
Yeah, if you want to go, if you want to question,
we've had our gripes about that too. So just want to lay that out. But how we're gonna do Callins now? Zach, we've been perfecting Callins, right? It's a new thing for us. We've been trying and
trying to figure it out.
We love talking to everybody, but again, we are still having the same thing of like we have so many people on for Callins, and then we just don't have enough time to get to everybody because sometimes the call-ins go long. That's nobody's fault, by the way, right? It's nobody's fault. But it's just we haven't had a structure for it yet. So there's been nothing to follow. So what we're going to do is it'll be more like radio where, we'll say what's up. Hey, how you doing? You say whatever you want to say, right? Talk to us about stuff. You'll have that one spiel thing, right? You can talk about whatever you want to talk about. And then once you're done, we will take you off the screen, and like Zach and I do, this is Kevin and Zach React, we will react to it. So it's almost like a radio call-in type of thing, because that's what we really envisioned in the first place. I just think Zach and I got really, we just love talking to the community. But we realized that, we want to get to everybody who wants to call in. And
yeah, I'm going to be honest, this biggest reason is we feel really bad when there are 2 or 3 people have to get off from waiting because we have, we talk to 3 or 4 people for 5 minutes each, and then suddenly people have to get off. We just want everyone to be able to get their opinion in. So a little bit briefer, especially for a 1:49 a.m. stream. So
yeah. So and again, I think radio call-ins too, because Zach and I want to react to what you have to say, right? Where we can react in that moment, but I think the radio call-ins aspect, we're going to try it out. And again, this is evolving, right? So we want to say, hey, we want to go back to what we were doing before, but we want to try it out. We want to
trying things.
So
we are trying things. Yeah. So
all right, you want to put that link in?
Yep.
Beautiful. And this is Kevin and Zach React. We do react to every single Orioles game, win or lose. There has been a lot of losing so far this year. There was more winning, although now we're back to losing, which is unfortunate. So we'll get into the highs and the lows of this team. We get into the pain and the sorrow as well as the joy.
Part of me blames myself, Kevin.
Remember when we had all that joy? 2023. We didn't do the show in 2023, but we were all watching. And then
yeah, but there was so much.
Walk-offs. When's the last time this team had like multiple walk-offs in a month? Like, when's the last time I had a walk-off in general?
I was just going to say, we haven't walked it off at all this year, right? No, there's no way. We haven't walked it off at all.
Yeah, no, there has not been a walk-off this year.
When was the last time this team won?
I mean, I'd have to go back and look. I can't like.
I'm trying to think.
It'd be hilarious if it was the SETI walk-off against the Yankees. It'd be very funny. I don't think it is, but it'd be very funny.
I don't know when the last walk-off was. Jeez. Wow.
What if instead of talking the game, I give life advice? I could give some mean life advice. Not like good, not mean. I could give some good life advice. I feel like I could.
This was one of the craziest things to watch live. Damn. You're like sitting there and you're like, okay. You're like,
I see people are saying it was Tony.
That was okay. So it was Tony.
Okay. All right. Cool.
All right. Okay, so Tony versus the Giants. There we go. Now we got it. Awesome. Let's head into our first column. We got AJ.
Yeah.
AJ, what's up, my friend?
What's going on, AJ?
I'm in better spirits than you guys because this game started at noon for me.
I was going to say.
You have a reason to be happy.
Oh my God. Everyone else is like miserable, and I'm like, God, I love West Coast games.
Yeah.
Like,
God, I love West Coast.
Yeah,
games.
that's an advantage to you. But
I did not like this West Coast game though.
Yeah.
Just squandering opportunities. Pretty much almost everyone outside of like Jackson had a moment in the game where they just did something ridiculous. I'm the big Rutschman fan, and I love what he's been doing the last couple of days. When Jackson Holiday legged out that routine ground ball, and you immediately go into a double play to follow it, that's unacceptable.
Oh, you're preaching to the choir. I was freaking out when that happened because of the hustle that Jackson just willed his way onto base. Like, it's one thing if he just got a regular single, that happened. He just literally routine ground ball. I'm gonna hustle my ass.
As routine as it gets. Yeah, but we were up this game 3-0 with Kramer throwing a perfect 2 innings with 15 pitches, and we gave up 4 in the third. That's kind of the story of this game.
Sure.
The one up for Kramer, he went 5 1/3. If Kramer folds in that third inning and just gets taken out, the series is a loss because our bullpen is toasted. So at least Kramer gave us the depth for our bullpen to have a lockdown end of the game, give our offense a chance they didn't take advantage of. We've all talked the Heston AB to death. It was awful. Literally any of us would have had a better AB because it's major league pitching. None of us got the bat off our shoulders. Like, you would be better going up there with a toothpick and not swinging than that AB. But,
I'll say the only pitch I give Heston credit for swinging at's the first one because that ump was calling that BS low ball all game. I understand swing at that one. Unfortunately, though, once Mason Miller hits you with a curveball and you swing and miss, you then have to look fastball. And if you're looking fastball and I'm swinging at everything, Mason Miller's too good. And then you look like that.
But
yeah.
Getting rid of Kobe when he had a good game, just Kowser not getting a better read when he normally has pretty good base instincts. And the final thing I'll say is, and then you can kick me off, is I'm tired of being the get right team for pitchers. Mason Miller's been pretty rough this year.
Yeah.
He's been
like 7 ERA,
but he gets hit hard, and we just didn't. I swear to God, we are such a get right team that if you threw Jim Abbott on the mound against us, he'd grow his arm back. That's how much of a get right team we are for pitchers. Which shout out Jim Abbott, he was amazing.
Really, really good.
But we are such a get right that it's ridiculous. I'm far more scared of the 7 ERA than I am of the starter that just threw a perfect game.
Oh my God, yeah.
But yeah, that's all I have to say.
Man.
Brutal game. I'm not as down as some other people. We can still win the series. We can still keep the hot streak, but brutal loss.
Yeah, tough way to do it. But AJ, appreciate you, man. Hopefully they get back on a win column tomorrow. So
hopefully
another one, and hopefully if the time permits in Australia, you can call in hopefully after a win tomorrow. It's going to be the same time, so you'll be able to call in hopefully. So
I should.
Awesome. All right, AJ, appreciate you, man. We'll talk soon.
Appreciate you, AJ.
Yeah, AJ makes a good point about being the get right team, and it just feels like that. Luckily, it wasn't Chicago. Luckily, if they had been the get right team against Chicago, I would have lost my mind.
Yeah, and Kevin, I want to bring this up because actually, you know what? Let's bring it. Let's do that thing where we react to things and bring it on screen. Here's Mason Miller and May. I guess I'll zoom out a little bit so you can see that beautiful May ERA of 10.38.
Yeah.
Obviously, majority of that comes against the Marlins and Phillies. Actually, fun fact. Do you know why he gave up 5 runs versus the Marlins?
Yes, I do. Familiar face.
Kyle Stowers, grand salami. Yeah. So it does suck. I mean, it is funny because you're sitting there, you're like, a 10.38 ERA in May. You're like, that's ass. And then you look and you realize that, okay, he went going into this game, he had 3 straight innings of no hits. Allowed or 2 straight games of no hits allowed, 3 straight of no runs. It was really just 4 straight games where he gave up a run. Of course, that couldn't have happened now, but I'm tired as well, Kevin. I'm tired of being the get right team where these players come in and you're like, Mason Miller has not been at his strongest so far this year.
Yeah.
And then it's just like vintage Mason Miller.
Yep. Tough.
I think it just makes it worse because in some different reality, last year the Orioles went all in and traded for him.
I would have loved it. I mean, after watching.
Remember right before the deadline when Mason Miller broke his thumb on his thumb while punching or he broke one of the bones in his one of the fingers while punching the training table because he had to do extra cardio or something. Like he had to do extra and
there's too much of that in sports.
And remember that they were weirdly trying to defend it, the ethics, they weren't bringing it up. They're like, yeah, there's just an incident. He was sore after this, and then the story came out people saw him break it doing this, and everyone was like, yeah, that is. And then the Athletics had to release a statement. It was crazy.
Yeah, man. There's a reality where the Orioles traded their entire farm system for Skubal and Mason Miller and won the World Series.
I mean, how much better would this team be without half of its players? But at least we'd have Skubal.
Yeah, make Skubal and Miller hit.
We wouldn't have Mayo, Kerstead, Holiday, maybe Cowser, maybe Westburg. We would have gotten rid of everyone. But
right, and this too is a good point by Peyton, where it's they were going to trade Stowers. The point is it was the return that they got,
and also
right? And look, Rogers looked great last time out. He's still down there in Norfolk, so
I think this is also something that we forget. Had Jorge Mateo, and this is a very tragic thing, had Jorge Mateo broken his arm 2 days prior, Connor Norby is still a Baltimore Oriole.
Yep, 100%.
And going into this season, I'm telling you, he's the starting third baseman. After Wesley got injured and everything, although I guess maybe he gets traded in the offseason.
Yeah.
But I'm saying once
I feel
Wesley
they would have tried to throw together a package, but
yeah, and that's what makes it interesting is remember how screwed they got. People forget that's the reason Jackson came up again. I don't think they were planning on really bringing Jackson up. So
it worked for him. It works
for him. Oh, let's end to our next column. We got Arkansas Joe. Tough one for Kerstead, but you know what? He's looking better in recent games. We'll bounce back.
Yeah, tough at bat for sure.
I was going to go try to find duct tape, but I realized I had a beard, and that would be massively a mistake on my part.
Yeah, that would hurt, man. I don't even think I can do that.
So I decided just to cover my mouth for a few minutes because I'm not sure if you guys are aware. I tend to get emotional sometimes with people. And them folks down there, they ain't been very nice to me tonight. But
yeah, we banned some people. We made the statement about personal attacks. That's not. This is no place for
rules, and I certainly appreciate that. And,
yeah, this is not. People want to be upset about players. That's all good, but this is not the place. This is a place for people to be upset together. Not.
Yep. Was that
not take shots at each other?
That was a terrible at bat. But
it was a terrible at bat no matter who took it. It didn't matter.
You know who said it best? Jim Palmer in the postgame. Mason Miller threw 103 miles an hour. Yeah. Sure, bad at bat. But can you see 103 miles an hour coming down the pipe?
No, and if you're looking 103, and he throws that curveball and you're committed to 103, there ain't no stopping.
It's rough. It's been rough quite a few times, yes.
Yeah. But there's also been good times, He's also starting to – and listen, Joe, that's the other thing is when you want to talk about 103 is hard enough when you add his curveball into, his secondary pitches, it gets harder. Then you want to talk about coming off the bench to face it. He hadn't gotten – it's one thing to be in your groove all game. It was a bad spot for Kerstead to be in. That's a – and I don't know if they put Kerstead in that situation if they had no Millers coming in, but – that's a tough situation for a guy who's trying to get his confidence back to all of a sudden be sent into.
Yes, indeed. It is. And 75 in Sacramento on a night like this, it's chilly. That's a chilly night on the river. I've been there. I've been to that ballpark. Yeah. That's why people had hoodies on it. 75. It cools down quite a bit. So coming off the bench cold when it's middle of June, you're not really. I mean, they came from Seattle, but Seattle's a little different weather. Yeah,
weather's
it
all
was
over the
rough.
place.
But remember, the A's get paid to play baseball too, and they're not just going to roll over for everybody.
That is accurate. That's an accurate statement.
It sucks.
I mean,
through
hey,
for
we
the
talked
Athletics.
about their 1 through 3, 1 through 4 is no joke.
And if they trade Mason Miller at the deadline this year, come 2028, when they allegedly get to Vegas, those will be the prospects that come to Vegas because they're going to get a haul to prepare to sell out the stadium that is being built, allegedly. I'll believe it when I see it.
Yeah.
I don't believe it yet, but we'll see. But yes, appreciate the timeout for the unkind folks because, we were going to get electric for sure.
Well, we appreciate you, Joe. And,
tomorrow's a big day.
is this
I
game
would
one?
say
Is this game one?
It is game 1 tomorrow.
Okay.
Yes.
All right.
Big game.
North Carolina beat the snot off the team today they were playing. So Carolina won it was like 17-4 or something. They beat the snot out of team. But tomorrow is game 1. The weather looks like it's going to be all right to get the game in. I haven't been able to watch any of the pressers today. I've just been busy. But it's going to be fun and exciting to watch. It's a busy weekend in Fayetteville because they have the Walmart shareholders meeting in Fayetteville this weekend.
Oh, really?
So
I didn't know that.
there are celebrities out the wazoo, and there are concerts. Jimmy Fallon was a Walmart greeter in Fayetteville for 3 hours yesterday.
Oh, wow. I'm sure they have. I'm sure there'll be plenty. Are there already clips of that out?
I imagine there is.
Yeah, I'm sure.
And I don't know who's headlining the concert, but it's huge weekend. It's just everybody comes to town, and they cater to the shareholders and tell them how much money they've made. So Fayetteville is electric this weekend. So who knows who will be at the game tomorrow?
Man, well, hopefully they get the job done, Joe. We appreciate you calling in.
Zach Root is on the mound for game 1. So I anticipate a lot of strikeouts.
Zach, he's talking to you. I don't know. He was...
Zach Root is the pitcher for the Rays.
Oh, Zach Root. Oh.
Yeah, Kevin.
All right, then that's. I thought you were talking to Zach. Okay.
No, that's why when Kevin, you were like, "What?" I was like, "What are you?"
Because I thought he was talking to Zach. I thought Joe was saying to Zach. Okay,
I was like, when you were asking me, I was like,
yeah, that's what I thought. That's what I thought he was saying.
So thought you were asking me.
Now I understand. Now I understand. Okay, Zach Root. So now I'll remember Zach Root forever because of this moment. So,
but we roll into tomorrow. So,
yes.
Well, today technically it's 2:00 where you all are. So, but it's morning time for Kevin. We all know that.
Yeah, well,
and sir,
dinner time for me. It's evening. It's evening.
We know what happened here, Kevin. Where the hell is the ramen?
That's what people are asking.
Yeah.
We need.
I couldn't do yesterday. Zach was driving, and it feels wrong doing it after a loss. So the next time they win, I will do it.
Yeah, we've been hearing that.
I could not do it after a loss. The vibes are just too bad right
now.
That's
fine.
I wouldn't do it for anybody.
But that's 2 sweeps in a row, man.
But we had got rid of the sweeps, and I had said if they had won 6 in a row, I'd do the 2 ramen. So I'm still doing that. But Zach was a road warrior yesterday, and while I was reporting Locked On Ravens, so I saw his hotspot was getting a little crazy. So
yeah, we all got individual show times, so it was kind of fun.
It was
Zach giving the power to the callers, man.
I got spoofed. I couldn't.
Yeah, when I went out, my computer went out with Joe, so the whole thing just took everyone off. We just had blue screen for like 2 minutes,
and then I got back on there and was alone, and I got scared because I knew I was going to say something that I was going to regret. I don't need another timeout for crying out loud.
Oh man,
Joe, appreciate you as always. It's go get some sleep, and hopefully the Hogs can take one tomorrow.
Appreciate
We're
you,
talking
Joe.
about a win tomorrow, 2 wins.
Let's do it. Appreciate you, Joe. We'll catch you next time. Yeah. It's Kevin, I was so confused when he was like, yeah, Zach Root's on the mound.
Well, because
You
I didn't
started
know.
looking
I
at
didn't
the
know.
moon.
I thought you were saying Zach Root's on the mound tomorrow.
Oh no, that's
One.
what you were
I
looking at
thought
me like
there
for a
was a
scouting
comma.
report,
You
and I was
seen
like,
that,
what do I
the
got?
Spider-Man with the bus.
Yeah, like I was
the
like
kid
sitting there,
with the
you were like, yeah, and I was like,
comma.
are you expecting me to like give a detail like
Yeah,
what I'm
'cause I thought he
expecting
was
from
talking
Zach
to you. I
Root
thought he was
tomorrow?
talking to you. Yeah.
As a fellow Zach, we this is what I'm expecting.
See,
from
there
my
you go.
man.
That's what I expected you to have your fellow Zach powers out there and to just know.
All right, let's move on to our next home. We got Andy behind the scenes. Andy, what's up, my man?
What's going on, Andy?
What's up, guys? I relate with Kevin a lot because this is when my mind is most active.
Yeah,
Right about
that's
now.
what I'm talking about.
It's right about now. It probably carried over from college days, but yeah, right about now is a great time to watch some Orioles and tough loss tonight. But to be honest, I'm not as pressed as I feel like other people are, and maybe you guys are.
Okay.
Maybe it's just I've lost kind of like all expectations, but it just kind of the eye test to me. I felt like when I was actually able to watch, I had a soccer game, so I could only watch from like the third inning on, but it felt like there was fight. It felt like there wasn't like that rollover, which we've seen before. I don't want to get too critical of Mansolino because, he's just there and I'm not trying to, call over his head, obviously, but it felt the gunner sitting was a little weird, even though he's had like a day off recently. And then to me, who knows if this really even matters, but not walking Soderstrom after I thought I saw Buck Britton like put up 4 fingers. He had Adley go out to the mound to talk to Kramer. I thought there was 4 fingers shown, and then we're pitching to him like, what's going on here? And then he ends up getting that ground out. So, who knows what happens there, but he had an open base. You could try for a double play. I don't know. That was a little weird. I don't know if you guys have thoughts on that, but that was a little weird.
Yeah. Kevin, you got something?
I don't really know what was going on there. Like, did anybody say anything post game? Was there a question asked about it? I haven't seen
anything.
Yeah, I don't know. It was. I have no.
It feels like this coaching or managing style recently, it's almost like 180 from Hyde, where Hyde was very analytical and he would have been like, okay, open base, we're going to do this. Whereas I feel like Manzolino is very, I trust our guys, go get the damn out. And it's a complete 180. And I think sometimes we're going to see, when we were begging for Hyde to be more aggressive, I think there are going to be times we're kind of begging Manzolino like, okay, you don't got to do it then. Like, that doesn't have to be, go. I mean, for Christ's sake, I think it was the 6th inning, and they brought the infield in on a 1-run game. And I was like, okay. I was like, I would just concede the run and then stop, the bleeding there. Or was the go-ahead run at third and they brought in, then it's like, okay.
Yeah.
They're clearly – but I agree, Andy, on the fight part. Listen, this team recently – has shown more fight than they ever did in the first few months. This team is, even in the losses, they're fighting. So you love to see that. I mean, they've won now 9 of their last 12. All 3 losses, they've had a lead in. Unfortunately, 2 of them, they've had a 3-0 lead in. So you would have hoped that they could keep those. But even once they fall behind, they're still competitive at bats and competitive games. I mean, it sucks that they were 1 for 9 with rather than scoring position, but at the same time, they gave themselves opportunities. You want them to come through, but months ago, we saw this team roll over time and time again.
Yeah, exactly. And that Carlson at bat, man, that was so promising. That was the kind of fight where I was like, okay, this team is not rolling over, like you said, like it was earlier in the year. We've already talked about that Kersad at bat, but after that first pitch, I ran to DraftKings trying to bet on a Kersad strikeout, and they wouldn't let me. They already knew. Everything was locked, and I was like, I don't love betting against the Orioles. I rarely do it, but that one was.
Yeah. Well, if you want to bet against Zach, you can do that and win some money. So.
Might as well. This right, we're going.
Are you at like 10 straight losses at this point?
Kevin, I feel responsible for this because earlier today I bet on the Orioles to make the playoffs. Like I tweeted out.
There
I
you
was
go.
like,
Andy, there it is. There it is right
Good
there.
value. Hey, I bet maybe right before the 6-game win streak, it was like over 70.5 or 71.5. I was like, this team is looking rough, but that's just too low. That's too low of a number. So
I got them at 80. I got them at 80 wins today at plus 450, and then I got them at to make the playoffs at plus 1300. So I was like,
they're definitely winning 79 or 80 on the dot.
That's okay. If they do, I'm cool with that. If they do, I'm cool with that, Kevin.
Then we're all gonna have to answer the questions about if they're buyers or sellers at the deadline, because they'll be like in that flux.
The whole
mode.
chat knows. They know I cursed though. I'm sorry. I saw value. I couldn't resist.
Oh, jeez. Well, Andy, appreciate you calling in, man. It was a rough one, but I agree with you. The fight is there more than it has been. And you know what? They won 6 straight. Teams are going to lose games. Still disappointing considering who they lost to. But I think after what we saw the first couple months of this year, I think all we were asking for was some fight. So at least they're doing that a little more. But appreciate you, man, and we'll talk soon.
Yep, sounds good.
All
See
right,
you guys.
appreciate you. All right. Let's mosey on in to our last call in here. She knows who she is. It is Laura. Laura, you know, the thing I look forward to the most with you calling in is seeing what your bottom thing is going to be every day, because you always change it up and it always cracks me up.
So first of all, this is my Zach, you did what face?
Yeah, okay. Like that's all.
You can't take him anywhere, Laura. You can't take him anywhere.
I saw value. Like I tweeted out to us, if anyone else wants to drink the Kool-Aid with me.
No.
Like,
No.
If I might have to bet them to win 90 games.
Be quiet. No.
There's no excuse. There's no excuse.
As you see, I'm in bed.
Yeah.
So
That's probably everyone should be.
I'm going to steal a line from my girl off of Instagram. I'm going to keep it black, but I'm going to keep it brief.
Let's hear it.
First of all, Zach, where the hell are you now? Because you vacation more than, you know.
I was going to actually say this to him after the show, so I'm glad you are bringing it up.
I'm down in Ocean City right now.
Okay.
You know, just a quick day trip. I'll be back in back in my studio tomorrow. I just drive places.
Okay. Kevin, what time are we getting up tomorrow? I mean, we're already getting up at 7:15. Where are you getting? What time are we really getting up tomorrow?
I am doing a bonus episode. I was planning on doing a bonus episode because they had OTAs today, so I just want to get the latest headline out there. But I am actually getting up tomorrow at 10:48 a.m.
10:48. Okay, I'm going to keep you that.
10:48 a.m.
Do you have an 11? Why?
Because I'm leaving at 11. I have to leave at 11. And the reason why,
you're literally just going to roll right out of bed.
Yes, and then I'm going to shower when I get back. It's not going to be that long, so I'm going to shower when I get back, because this is like the most controversial thing. I'm usually a morning shower person, but I have switched to now sometimes do morning and night showers. I know that some people get weird about
that's
night
Florida,
shower,
baby.
about
that's
morning
called
showers.
I know you're not here, but that's called living in Florida.
Yeah,
morning, noon, and night showers because of the heat.
So
and humidity.
I've honestly transitioned into, but they're quick showers. Like, I used to take one long shower. Now it's 2 shorter, like much shorter showers. But that's what I used to do at school. I lived 10 minutes away from my class, from my dorm. I'd wake up at 10:51. I'd walk to class and be there by 11 and sit down.
Oh, gosh. Okay.
But the reason why it's 10:48 and not 10:45 is because I want to steal those extra 3 minutes of sleep. So I never wake up at like 11 on the dot or 7:45 on the dot. It's always like 7:47, 7:49, 7:46, like 1:29 in the afternoon, like those types of times. But you got to steal it, because again, if you steal 1 minute of sleep every day, you're gonna have 365 more minutes of sleep in your life. Why? That's my life advice for the night.
I mean, that's one way to look at it.
Hey, and then you'll have what's 730 in 2 years. Like it adds up. It adds up.
I see you try to do the math in your head,
Yeah,
Zach. A couple of things about the game. Well, this one was before the game. Manzolino had a statement about you can't go 100% off the paper. That there's a human element to this, and anybody who doesn't realize that is somebody that I don't. He said it basically was somebody he didn't want to talk to, be friends with, whatever.
Yeah.
I like that. I do like that. So I'm all on the Manzolino train. I think he should be kept. I think he should be retained after the end of the season. Because I think I honestly think that mindset is what is making the difference. We lost the game today. Hey, we lost. I mean, but we won 6 in a row before that. The Dodgers are, 162-0, and they're supposed to be the best team in baseball, allegedly.
Yeah. It's a long season. I agree. You have to win the series. So what matters. But I think, with going into this,
we got 2 more games to do that with. And we can win those 2 games.
Yeah, they got to. I mean, you have to. Yeah, it is get into a month. You got to win both those games. If you lose the series to the Athletics, we aren't in the position to be able to be like, yeah, you lost the series. Just move on. Minimum, you gotta.
So my little tagline there. Kevin, since you love my taglines, what movie is that from?
What is what from?
My tagline. Tomorrow is another day.
I'm not even gonna guess. I don't know. I'm not even gonna guess. You're gonna say it, and I'm gonna know.
Do you know Zach?
No.
Zach knows less than I do, but I'm the one that's asked, so Zach gets a pass, and he's admitted it.
Yeah, no, it's incredible.
No, he doesn't get a pass either. Neither of you get a pass. It's from the great American film Gone with the Wind.
Gone with the Wind.
Scarlett O'Hara, no matter what happens to her, she always says, tomorrow is another day.
I know, and frankly, I don't give a damn. I know that. I know that. I know that's how they ended it. First time anyone cursed in the movie.
You at least know that. Okay.
I took a class where we talked about that. I've watched Gone with the Wind.
Okay. I'm impressed now. I'm impressed. Okay. So other than that
was early George Clooney, wasn't that?
George Clooney?
No, not. Who am I thinking of?
And you just ruined it all.
Who am I thinking of? Who? Maybe I watched the remake.
Look, Clark Gable?
No. I need to look this up. Am I thinking of the right movie right now?
I can't with you two.
You never know what you're gonna get. You never know what you're gonna get.
So. Yeah. That's Forrest Gump.
Maybe.
Life is like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're gonna get.
Yeah.
Forrest Gump. Different movie. All right, children.
Tragic. All right, Laura.
Long time caller.
Yes.
You're gonna hang up and listen.
All right.
Well, I appreciate you. We'll catch you next
time. Appreciate you as always. We'll talk soon.
We'll see you.
That was maybe the most tragic thing I've ever witnessed, Zach. You had everybody in the I know this, and then just completely ruined it. Ruined it.
I just remembered because in that class we watched so many movies, and my professor was obsessed with George Clooney. So I'm not gonna lie, I took a shot in the dark there. Like it was one of those. You know what?
I appreciate you going up there and trying.
I had the money in the hand that I just won, and instead of walking away from the table, I decided not only I just won money on guessing black at the roulette table, so it's like okay, you guessed your 50-50, black or red, but then I got cocky and I was like, I can guess the exact number.
Yeah, and you had a 3-0 count against Mason Miller, and you just let him blow 3 103s right by you at the end. just tragedy, man. I see people talking about Manzolino. I like Laura's energy about Tony. I think, look, he's done a better job than I thought he was going to. I'm still not.
He's done a much better job than
I'm still not there with her on the he should take over. I'd have to see at least the LCS for that. But I think the energy's been better.
I would need to see
there have been mistakes, right? We could talk about Mancelino mistakes, but it seems like the messaging has been better. They're fighting. He was also, like, let's be honest, he was thrown in a tough. Everybody expected to be Chirinos or Britton, and it's just Tony Mancelino, and we're just like, oh, okay, like, I guess it makes sense, but at the same time, like, whoa. So, I mean, he's done better than I thought. He'd need to, like, bring this team to ALCS minimum for me, but I like the enthusiasm, like, I do truly. So, yeah, we'll see.
Wait, hold up.
Are you still looking at movies? I'm not trying to talk about baseball, and you're looking at movies. Oh,
yes, you are, because I now think.
Oh, okay. Well,
sorry.
All right. Well, I don't know. We didn't get to Tommy's, so appreciate you, Tommy. Felt those Heston whips in Seattle. Yeah, it was just. I think Maverick had the second least competitive at bat I've seen this year from them, and I can't even remember who was against. Yeah, the Heston bat was bad. It was bad.
It was Kevin, it was because of the moment. Had that at bat happened in the third inning, no one would be talking about it. It still
would have been bad, but I just think, yeah.
But no one would care. Like, if that would have been the third inning of, like, I'm talking if that's in the third inning to lead off the inning, no one cares. It's just a horrible at bat. It's because of the situation. The fact that it's, if you just get a fly ball, just put it in play, we probably get a run. So,
yeah. But look, I'm glad they made a move on Hyde. It needed to happen. And again, it wasn't all his fault. It wasn't his fault. Like we had talked about it, Zach. He should have probably been fired after the Royals series. You could have made an argument after the Texas one, but they won 101 games. They weren't going to do it then. But after the Royals series, it certainly should have been done. They started off slow. Again, I'm not saying the players hated Hyde. I don't think that they did. But I am pretty sure, just putting 2 and 2 together, that the messaging was probably just stale. It wasn't that, oh, we hate this guy, get him out of here. It was just like, dude, nothing's working. Right? Like, nothing's working. And so they needed to make a change because anything was better than that. And it has been better. But the fact you dig yourself in that hole does make losses like this sting even more when you're supposed to beat a team like this and you just don't. So
if we had won 6 straight to put ourselves 12 games above 500 and they just lost this game, we'd be like, damn, that sucked. You have to win the next 2 games and we're good. But right now it feels there is more pressure. There is more.
I'm going to keep my same energy and say that, it's a disappointment either way. Like,
yeah, the way you were playing.
You needed a sweep to have me feel good about it. And again, asking any team to win 9 straight is tough against MLB teams. Joe was correct. The A's are a professional baseball team. The White Sox are professional
good players too.
They have good
players. That's what
players.
Sucks is the Athletics offense. The Athletics pitching is, I'm going to say it, the Athletics pitching is ass. The Athletics pitching makes.
I got Severino on the bump tomorrow, man, and we know what he's done. We know what happened to him last start.
Yeah, I mean, the Athletics pitching staff makes ass pitching staffs look good. That's a fact. Their hitters are damn good. They have a really solid line. Like, that's what's unfortunate is if their pitching wasn't just so historically awful, they started off the season over 500.
They were so much better than people thought they were going to be.
Like Jacob Wilson is running away with Rookie of the Year. Brent Rooker is a damn good middle of the bat guy. Lawrence Butler is a star in the leadoff slot. Soderstrom has been an incredible power hitter in the four hole.
But it's also the fact that Kurtz, they caught
Max
them
Muncy.
In this. Yeah, they caught them in this stretch as opposed to that stretch. That's what makes.
Yeah, and that's what's working. If they would have done this,
if they had lost to them like 4th week of the season, 2 out of 3, or they lose 1 out of 3, and they get 2, that's like, okay, that team's playing really good. You feel better about it. But the fact that they're, what'd you say, 2-21 in the last 23 or something before tonight is like, that's where it's just like, come on, really? Like, and they had the momentum too. It wasn't like the Orioles were coming in on a 10-game losing streak or something. Like, They had the momentum. So again, I mean, you have to play the games, right? They're going to play. What is it? Is it 100 and more games now? What's their record?
Exactly.
Is it exactly 100 games?
I think
It
we're at
is.
exactly.
I think, yeah, it is. No, it is. It is. There are 62 games in the season, so 100 more games left. You have to play them. They're not going to roll over. We've seen fight, so we'll see what they do. We'll see. I love
a win, Kevin, and they could have been 10 games under with 100 games left. They would have just had to make up a single game. You would have just had to play a game above 500 every 10 games the rest of the way.
That's what's so annoying is like it's a 2-game setback. Like it is legit. You have to win 2 games now to get to where you would have been with a win tonight. Yep. Whereas if you would have won that game, you could have been 8 games under 500.
Yeah, if they would have won every game, they'd be 8 games under 500. Now
you just have to win the series to get back to 10 under, which is why those losses to me feel so heavy. Where it's like it's a 2-game setback every time you lose, and every time you lose with the record they have had, you know, I feel like a broken record. But it's why I mean, look, and I talk about this on Locked On Ravens every year, where it's like the Ravens lose games to teams they have no business losing to. It just happens. Teams have that happen. But the Ravens losing to the Raiders in week 2 last year, everybody thought they were cooked, but they were able to get out of that hole because they went on a heck of a run and they're a really good team. I mean, you know, comparing Ravens to Orioles, I think the Ravens are much better off right now. But, you know, every team loses games. The teams are not supposed to have beat them, but it's just a matter of how you respond to it. So if they can win these 2 games, great. You salvage something, but it's still a disappointment. So
yeah, and Kevin Brown's calling the college softball World Series right now. That's what sucks about the Orioles having 2 of the best announcers there is the month of June is end of May, beginning of June is absolute ass because it's and pretty much the most of June because we lose Ben to the College World Series and Kevin to the
man, I miss Gary Thorne. Not that Kevin Brown isn't amazing because he is, but like I miss Gary Thorne. What a run. And I mean Gary would go off and do NHL and other stuff. I mean Gary's not doing anything now, is he?
Yeah, I don't think so. I was just about to say
He was with the Mets for a little bit, right? And then
he stood in for a few games because remember there was the whole thing where his first game back where he called the Mets game to step in. They got an out to get out of the inning. He's like, Orioles get out of the inning. Mets get out of the inning. And everyone in both was like, Gary, we miss you. Gary, come home. I might bring
Man, has he not done anything since? Oh, okay. Yeah, those Mets. He hasn't done anything since then.
No.
Yeah, it's been since 2022. Gary's been out of it. So, yeah, Gary was awesome. Man, I still remember the Joe Angel, Fred Manfra on the radio. Like, those are like memories unlocked. But Gary to me is the GOAT. Gary to me is the GOAT. He was so awesome. Then you know what, Andrew? We might have to bring this up with management. I'm HR. Ryan is management. So we might have to see if we can.
You know what?
We can make that happen. And yeah, Laura, he was with the he's not there anymore. He was with the Mets for a little while there, but he's been out of it since 2022. God, don't you love how we're like, we're gonna shorten Callins, make the show shorter, and then we just never do it. No. We just love talking to the community too much. It's true. And I love that we love it. I love that, we have the community that we have.
I'm about to play some Wii golf.
On stream?
What? No.
Actually, I remember you saying that last year when you were there.
I have to blow some steam off. Play some Wii golf.
Why don't you play Wii boxing? Isn't that how you blow steam off? Let's go.
I can't get a relaxing night on the course after.
Well, if you said you want to blow steam off,
Yeah, I want to relax a little.
I would beat anybody here in Wii baseball. By the way.
No, you wouldn't.
Yes, I would.
This probably is true. And yeah, Laura.
Do you have Wii Sports Resort? Because you could do like dog frisbee or you could do basketball.
I was playing a Wii Sports Resort basketball 3-point contest earlier.
Yeah.
It's a rhythm thing.
Yeah, look at that form. All right. We got anything else?
No, that's going to do it.
Orioles make their own bed. We all saw this coming. Jordan Adams no longer on the team. And that's why they lose.
That's why they lose. But if you're new to the channel, if you're up with us at 2:33 a.m., hit that like and subscribe. But
51 people still watching at 2:30.
I know. And actually, funny you say this. I was playing WWE 2008 on my old Xbox 360 earlier this month.
Great pool.
I guess last month. But yeah, so I still dabble with WWE, the early ones. Have some fun. But yeah, hit that like and subscribe button if you're new to the channel. Orioles drop a tough one. Back at it tomorrow, another late night stream. Good night, everyone. Good morning if you just were watching us and after waking up.
Or enjoy the rest of your day if you're like me. And
yeah, or if you're like Kevin and this is just lunchtime, have a great end of your night. So that's going to do it for this edition of Kevin and Zachary Act. We'll be back tomorrow for another edition after the Orioles game. Cooper Hummel.
I guess this is my last Jordan Adams because he's off the team now, so I can't do it anymore. So an end of an era and the Orioles lose because of it. So
Cooper Hummel and Jordan Adams. What a time. What a time to be alive. We'll see y'all tomorrow.